Here we go.
Okay. All right, so welcome to today. If you're gonna craft along with me, that is totally fine. But this project is a little involved just because there's a lot of steps. It's not super difficult, there's just a lot of steps. So the recording will be available on Michael's YouTube about 24 hours to 48 hours after class. Since it's Friday, I don't know if that would mean Monday. But it will be up later in case you need to see a step again, or if I get far ahead of where you are when you're crafting, you'll be able to watch this again. What we're making today is this project right on the wall behind me. It's this nice floral picture hanging. You can customize it in any colors you want to do. I picked the blues because it goes a lot with some of the paper pads we have in store right now. But I highly encourage you to customize however you want. If we can go ahead and switch to the overhead here, I will show you what we're using today. So we have got, I chose to use 3 paper pads today. You can use less, you can use more, you can do whatever you want to do. But the Southern Blues is going to be our accent pad today. The Pastel Solids and these Solid Blues are the 2 pads I'm using the most. I really wanted a nice variety of bright blues, so I'm using a bunch of blues from here and the blues from here. If you want to, again, choose a different color scheme, you totally can. I made a couple of things ahead to show you. If you don't want to use solid colors, I used 2 different sheets from the Southern Blues paper pad to make some patterned flowers. Patterned flowers are always a fun idea. So if you don't like the idea of the solids, or if you want to throw an accent flower, because we're making 6 flowers today, a patterned flower is always a good way to go. All right. The first thing we're going to do, I'm really trying to teach you a technique today. If you want to just learn how to make the paper flowers, that is totally a thing you can do today. I wanted to teach you how to make your own stencils and kind of customize the flower how you wish. So you don't have to buy a special flower stencil or find a special tutorial online that will have a printout with it. I'm going to teach you a really basic technique to make your own paper flowers that you can apply to any project you want to. I'm just applying it to the picture hanging today. So the fun thing about paper flowers is, for the most part, they're based on circles. So we're going to start making our own stencils. I have 2 tools I'm using today. This is a really cool, I think, older Martha Stewart tool. I'm not sure if it's available online any longer, but if you can find this, I recommend picking it up. If you can see, there's all kinds of inch sizes on it. So you kind of choose how big you want your circle to be and make your circle. But a nice basic large circle stencil will work for you too. If you also have one of those fun Fiskar, I think they're Fiskar circle cutters, that will totally work. And an old school compass or protractor will work too. I, in a pinch, have honestly found different cups and bowls and things around my house that are nice sizes, and trace those as well. So if you really just start looking around, you will find all kinds of circles that work. For today's class, I did mention we're going to do 6 flowers, but we're only doing 3 sizes. So I'm going to talk you through that. For our largest flower, just choose some, to make my stencils, I'm just using some nice standard weight cardstock. That tends to be the easiest way when I make kind of a nice recyclable stencil that I don't need to keep. I just make it out of cardstock. So the first, for the large flower, there's going to be 2 circles each involved with the petals of the flower. For that, I want each circle to be an inch difference in size. So for my large flower, I'm going to make a 4.5 inch circle and a 3.5 inch circle. I'm using this for my 4.5 inch circle because, unfortunately, my circle stencil here, the largest it goes is up to 4 inches. If you can only have this, or only have one where maybe your biggest circle is 4 inches, Like I said, check your house, see if you can't find like maybe a little bowl or a cappuccino cup or something that's just a little bit bigger than the 4-inch circle here, but you can also just adjust it. So instead of making a 4.5-inch circle, make a 4-inch circle and a 3-inch circle. However you need to adjust your sizes, just make your 2 petal sizes for your individual flower an inch different. So like I said, I'm starting with 4.5 inches. So a cool Martha Stewart tool here has a 4.5-inch mark on it. And I'm literally just gonna turn it around like that, and I've got a circle. And now I'm gonna switch to this. So this is, I'll write this here so you guys can see it. That one's 4.5 inches. My next size for this particular flower, this is cool because it actually marks the sizes. I'm not sure you can say, but it actually marks the inch sizes on each of these. So I need a 3.5 inch, which is going to be this right here. So that's my 3.5. For my medium flower, I want a 4-inch circle. So this is my 4-inch circle. And then I want a 3-inch circle. You can probably sense my pattern here. So a 4-inch circle and a 3-inch circle for the medium flower. I'm actually going to do a little bit of reusing in this. So for my small flower, I want a 3.5-inch circle, which I already made, and a 2.5-inch circle. Okay, so that's what's gonna make our petals. I will go over how to make the backs of our flowers because our flowers need a base. And the center of our flowers, when we get a little further along, I wanna show you how to make these. All right, so just take a minute. Obviously, you're gonna have to cut out your stencils. Doesn't take that long, and they don't have to be perfect. Because you're gonna cut these out, we're gonna trace them onto the paper that we need, and we're gonna cut them again. So you could draw directly onto your paper, but since we're making 6 flowers, and each flower has a total of 9 petals each, it's going to take a really long time if you individually do the technique I'm going to show you to each and every one of your designs on your final paper. That's why we're making a stencil for it, so that we don't have to do that part. We can just have one stencil and trace it however we need to onto our final product. Has anyone made paper flowers before? There's so many techniques you can do. I have made a ton of paper flowers. I made them for my best friend's bridal shower and wedding rather than buying floral arrangements. I somehow decided I was going to make paper flowers for the entire thing. And thank God she reused them at the wedding. But for the bridal shower, I had no idea the style of paper flower I had chosen to do would take hours to just get one bouquet. Oh, someone said they made them from cardboard egg crates. That's really fun. I haven't done that in a really long time. But there's so many cool projects you can do with those cardboard egg crates. So yeah, paper flowers are they're really fun because you can do them in any color. You can do them in all kinds of sizes. Like I showed you, you can do them in patterns. You can really customize them to whatever event you need, or even like, you just want to have them around the house. They last forever. And for the most part, they're usually fairly simple. Just, if you're making a ton of them, like I did for my friend's bridal shower, be sure to give your hand a break, because after a while, your hand will hate you. All right, so I have my circles cut out. So that is the first step to making our stencils. So I'm going to show you real easy. So you got your circle. The way I made mine, you're going to fold it in half. Let me put something down because my circles are white and I want you to be able to see. So you're going to fold it in half. Try to get pretty perfect, just because we don't want this to be a really super lopsided thing. Fold it in half. I tend to use my hands to measure everything when it's like a small thing. I'm not talking like if you're, you know, trying to cut a board, but if you're just trying to make kind of some small adjustments here, I use the hairdresser trick and I measure using my knuckles. So I'm going to put this down and put my finger here until I have my first knuckle at the top of the half circle. And I am going to mark the bottom of my finger. So you can see I just put a mark right there. And now we're going to kind of make a little bit of a heart. So you can see I did that. You go in. So I've kind of made a bit of a heart shape. And when I open it up, I've got this cool little shape that's going to form the basis for our petals. And we're going to go ahead and do that to each one of our stencil sizes. And on each size, I'm going to use the same knuckle. So if you want to make it more dramatic, on the bigger ones, you can go up to your second knuckle, but I'm just going to use my first knuckle here. Because each time you're just going to get a little more dramatic kind of swoop in your heart. And you can adjust it little if you don't quite like what you drew as soon as you open it back up. But I kind of like each one being different. This one kind of reminds me of Pac-Man, but it works. I'm always big when I do projects on trying to figure out the most useful way you can just use basic tools and how you can customize things to suit whatever you need. So if you've taken other classes with me, I make a lot of my own stencils out of cardstock. I always tend to just practice and try things a ton. So if you are not the fastest crafter, that's totally fine. But spend your time before you move on to your final materials, really practicing and playing with something like just plain cardstock. That way, by the time you've got everything figured out and perfected, by the time you move on to your final materials, and you'll be much happier with your result, and it'll take some of the pressure off. Because if you move immediately into working with your final materials, I don't know about you, but I get really nervous that I'm going to ruin it. So I'm always like, before I ever, when I was making this project, before I ever started cutting out of the colored paper, I made prototypes of the flowers out of the white. So I had just white flowers littering our crafting space downstairs for a little while. All right. All right. And if you want to make, you know, these a little softer, you can do that too. But I'm happy with that for now. The only other thing we're going to do that I'm going to show you. So the back of each flower, it takes a circle to go behind it. That way your petals have something to sit on top of. So that for these, I did a 3-inch circle. Wow. All right. So you're just going to do the same thing. Give yourself a 3-inch circle, cut that out, and that will be your stencil for the back of the flowers. If you have a cool little 1-inch hole punch, like this guy, this can be what you use to make the center of your flowers. If you don't have one, then just, again, use your stencil, find a 1-inch circle, make that out of cardstock. That can be your stencil. You can also, if your stencil doesn't go down that small, or if you don't have a punch, it's about the size of a quarter. Most of us have a quarter. And just to remind you, because I know this is a lot of prep steps, if you need catching up, or if you've just decided that you're going to craft later instead of crafting along with me, this recording will be available at michaels.com. So if you want to make a patterned flower like I made, you know, these guys, you can really choose pretty much anything in here. I personally, if you're looking at this, I personally wouldn't choose anything with text on it, just because I don't know how that would look as a flower. It might be really cool, but it might just look a little odd having random letters on your pieces. But this has all kinds of things like that would probably make a pretty cool patterned flower if you're into making a patterned flowers. This paper pad is just so pretty. That's why I chose it for today. I really loved the Southern Blues. It feels so springy to me, and that's what today's class is about. But okay, we are gonna move on to making our flowers. Choose whatever blues you want, or like I said, if you don't want blues, choose other colors. The pastel paper pad has plenty of pretty things. The measurements, I'm assuming for the circles you wanted to know. So for your large flower, you've got a 4.5 inch circle and a 3.5 inch circle. Your small or your medium flower, you've got a 4 inch circle and a 3 inch circle. And your small flower, you've got a 3.5 inch circle and a 2.5 inch circle. And I'll go over sizes again as I put them together. All right. Your large flower, that 4.5 inch flower, is going to take 2 sheets of paper. Every other size flower, the medium, the small, takes 1. So I'm going to choose this blue because it's a really nice kind of almost Tiffany blue. It's very pretty. So I also would use this blue. I already prepped that flower though. From here, you could make your entire paper flower. If you're sticking with the blues today, you could make the entire thing out of this pad, but personally I wanted to avoid the darker blues, so that's why I'm using the pastel pad as well. All right, so for my small flower, I'm going to use this one. You could probably use just one color to make all 6 flowers, but that is totally up to you. I'm going to use this other blue right here. It's kind of a nice medium blue for my large flower, so I'm going to need 2 sheets of it. Okay. Just so you can see, there's such a variety of blues in this pad. But like I said, if you love that blue color scheme and you want to make the whole pad from this, you can. I just really liked the 2 blues in the pastel paper pad. All right. So I'm going to show you how to trace these on. We're going to start with our small flower, which I think I'm going to do in this color. My small flower uses my 2.5 inch stencil and my 3.5 inch stencil. For each and every flower, our sizes are different, but our technique is the same. So for our large petal on each flower, you are going to need 5 of these. So go ahead and trace that on. And it doesn't have to be perfect. No one will notice. If you are using a patterned sheet of paper or a sheet of paper that's, you know, blank on the back, trace this on the blank side. You don't want to trace this directly onto your pattern because then you're going to have to go back and erase all your pencil lines so they don't show up in your final flower. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, all my pencil lines are on the back here. I didn't trace onto the front. Oh, I didn't finish that. It is really easy on these nice 12 by 12 sheets to fit a lot. You can get a lot of crafting out of these sheets. So, I mean, I've got 6 flowers and it would take maybe 8 pages to do that. And these pads are so big. You can make so many flowers. So I know I listed the difficulty level of this project, I think is either in intermediate or advanced. That's mainly for the hanging part. The actual paper flowers are super easy. So if you wanna, teach a youngling how to do the paper flowers with you, you totally can. There would just need to be assistance when it comes to the part where we attach them to our picture hanging and all of that. Okay, so you're gonna do 5 of this, oh, no, 4. I gotta do my math right. I just said we had 9 petals. So we need 5 of the big petal and 4 of the small petal for every single flower. So you can see how I got that nice and spaced on here. This is our smallest flower. Our medium flower is going to use our 4-inch petal and our 3-inch petal. So once again, just to remind you, we need 5 of the big petal. And if you have any questions as we go along, throw them into the chat. If it's something I see, I'll answer it here. If not, my coworker Emily can help y'all out too. Okay. But every single flower, like I said, the technique is the same. It's just our size that we're doing differently. So I've got 4 or 5 of that. Ooh, you can see half of my flower didn't draw. I love mechanical pencils, but I didn't see I ran out of lead. All right. And I can totally fit 4 of my smaller ones in the gaps here. If I wanted to use a second sheet, I could, but waste not, want not. These blues are so pretty, you're gonna be able to use them in a ton of projects. And 4 of our smaller petal. Okay, so I got all my 9 petals on there. All right, so now we're gonna do our large flower, which does take 2 sheets of the same color. For that, we've got our 4.5-inch petal, and then we're reusing our 3.5-inch petal. So let's make 5 of this one on here. And if you think these flowers are too big, you can totally make smaller flowers. Like I said, adjust the sizes to suit you. Just to get the technique I did, make it an inch difference between your big petals and your little petals. You could technically, if you could find a way to make circles big enough, you could make huge wallflowers using this technique. You would just need to make sure that you had a circle you can adapt that's big enough. All right, see how big these are? I'm not going to be able to fit all 5 of this big petal on here or these. So that's why we got a second sheet. So I need to do 1 more. Because this flower is a nice sizable flower. All right, and then we need 4 of our smaller petal. But I really hope if any of you do make this, totally cool to follow along, do it exactly like I did, but I really hope a few of you decide to customize it and do it in your own colors, your own style. I would love to see what your creativity brings out of you. And please, please, please always tag Craftsmith and tag Michaels. Michaels uses the hashtag Make It With Michaels. And Craftsmith, we are at Craftsmith Co. on Instagram. And Facebook as well, I believe. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and cut out our big one. I always like to cut everything down to make it more manageable. Because if you give me a big sheet of paper, it starts to get in the way as you cut it. I'm sure if you do a lot of paper crafting or even sewing, you have your favorite pair of scissors. I love these scissors. They're so good. And they're pretty. They're rose gold. Ooh. Sorry, as I fling things around. All right. Cutting things out, just take your time. Since this colored paper is two-sided, it really didn't matter which side I draw on. It has the same color and texture on both sides. So there's a blessing in that. If your pencil lines still bother you, you can go back and erase them. I'm not, just because it usually doesn't bother me that much. If I was using super light colors, I might. But, you know, a little bit of pencil line here and there on the back side that's not going to show doesn't really bother me that much. To get into like your nice little point here, just take your time. That is probably the hardest part of cutting it out. But as long as you go slow, you can still get that nice crisp point. This is also the point where if you want to, you can, these are kind of pointy, so you can round them out if you want to. Just make it a little bit less artificial looking. I mean, we're making blue flowers. I'm sure there are blue flowers in nature, but none of them come immediately to mind. I live in Southern California. We have plenty of flowers here, but our main plants that we see every day are probably palm trees. So I visited Maryland with my mother once when I was in junior high. And there is a garden back there. I think it's called Longwood Gardens. I had never been to a place that was basically an amusement park, but was just gardens. And it was the most gorgeous thing. So those of you that live in an area, how many petals? So each flower takes 9 petals. There's going to be 5 of your large petal and 4 of your small petal. So 9 petals for each flower. And before I construct them, I'll show you the complete components for one flower so that you know. Okay. Cutting is the part that probably takes the longest in this project. So just be aware of that when you sit down and do it. Especially if you're trying to craft along with the video. If you're watching this on Michael's YouTube, you may just need to pause now and then to get things like your cutting done. Because cutting is also something you don't want to do too quickly, because then you're going to end up making a mistake and having to redo it entirely. Which, you know, no shame in making a mistake. You can just redo it. Every creative I know makes mistakes constantly. And sometimes, you know, the mistakes are really cool and we keep them. And other times it just means we have to start over. But I've never met a truly creative person that gets through a project without making a mistake. When I taught kids art classes, I would always tell the kids that it doesn't really matter if you make a mistake, it just matters how you handle it. Because a lot of little kids are just really afraid when they're following instructions that they're going to do something wrong.
Megan,
Yes.
so Julie asked, is it 1 inch difference between the large petal and the small petal?
That is correct. So like I said, there's 1 inch difference between each size petal. So you can adjust the sizes as you need. I did for my pairings 4.5 inches and 3.5 inches for the large flower, 4 inches and 3 inches for the medium flower, and 3.5 inches and 2.5 inches for the small flower. So you can adjust that. I just didn't like making, if you wanted to make like, if you want to go smaller, I didn't like personally making a flower that was smaller than 3.5 inches, just because it got a little difficult, but it will look really cool if you make smaller flowers. But yes, you are correct. 1 inch difference between the petal sizes. All right.
And then Esther asked, so you only need 2 sizes of the circles to make the whole flower, right?
Let me count. No, hang on. Wait, to make 1 individual flower. So there's my large flower, there's my medium flower, and then that's my small flower is these 2. So yes, for each flower, there's 2. All right. So I have a little TV magic. I made some things ahead of time as I'm dropping them. Sorry. Okay. I pre-made some flowers. So I have my large flower, my medium flower, and my small flower all ready to go. For each flower that you are going to use to make, we've got our 2 sizes of petals. Our large petal, we've got 5. Our small petal, we've got 4. And then for each flower, you're going to need a back, which for this I did a 3-inch circle. If you are making smaller flowers than what I am doing, you will need to adjust this size, just so you know. Because this, with a 3-inch circle, I think this is my medium flower. This is a large flower. So, I mean, it fits these really well. This is a small flower. It starts to get kind of big. So if you are making smaller flowers, use a smaller circle. And then pull out for our components. So we've got that. And I pre-made them, but in our pastel paper pad here, which I did not show off, it's so pretty. I decided I wanted yellow centers to my flowers. I pre-cut those. You're just gonna punch those out or cut them out. And like I said, a 1-inch circle will make your center for the flower. If you don't have a stencil for that, it's about the size of a quarter. I'm pretty sure most of us can find a quarter, or even like a bottle cap or something would work. But these are the pieces you need for each flower. So you need your 2 sizes of petals, your back, and your center flower. Okay. All right, so these are prepped. So for now, I'm gonna ignore them and we're still gonna concentrate on this guy. There's only really one more step before you can start putting these together. And again, I use my fingers for everything. So we need to make a way to bend this flower safely. So you can see in this, I have this nice little slit. If you wanna mark it with your pencil, you can. I just kind of gauge and look. Again, I'm gonna use my first knuckle. So which on me is about a little bit under 1 inch, and make a slit right there in the bottom of my petals. If you want to make a longer slit, you can. What this is going to do is later, that's going to be what gives dimension to our petal. So if you make a longer slit, you can exaggerate your like arch there, but it's always better to start small and go bigger. So I'm going to do about a 1-inch slit in the bottom of this. So go ahead and
Megan.
Yes.
Sorry. What size is the back circle?
The back circle is 3 inches.
3 inches. Thank you.
Yes. You can do smaller. Like I said, if you're definitely making smaller flowers, go with a smaller circle. But if you're sticking with my size flowers, 3 inch will work for every single size we're doing. And it'll become really apparent what that's for in a minute. Or how to use it rather, because I've shown you what it's for. All right. If we were to start gluing our petals now into shape, that would work, but they're kind of flat. We want to give them some shape. So we're gonna curve them. I tend to use one of the thicker glue sticks as my curving tool. You can use just about anything. I've seen people use pencils and like straws. I just really like this because it's like the thicker style glue stick. It's malleable. It's just a random tool that I started using a while ago. So my pencil side is this side. I don't want that side. We're gonna flip it over. Okay. Shaping these is really easy. I just take the corner, pinch it kind of down onto the glue stick with my finger, and then we're gonna curve. If any of you have done paper like coiling and things before and you have better techniques, please share them, because I kind of just made this up myself. But you see, that's gonna give me kind of a curve to my flower or my petal, and then we're not gonna have a flat flower anymore. So go ahead and just do that to all the petals on your flower. And I tend to keep it consistent. My right one, I go backwards. My left one, I go forwards. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can shape these again after you put your flower together if you want to. But this kind of gives you a base to work with. The glue I'm going to be using today is just standard hot glue. And I chose hot glue to do everything today just because that's what I'm going to need to do the hanging part of the project. If you're not doing the hanging part of the project, you can use double-sided tape, a glue stick, a glue runner, any standard adhesive. Just because I really wanted to make sure these stick to the dowel rod that we're going to be using, I chose hot glue because hot glue gives you a nice bond and a nice bond quickly. Okay, so that's all you want to do for your basic shaping. I lost something. Okay. All right. You got your hot glue gun. Just gonna put a bead of hot glue, as little as you can, cross your ends over and press. So you're gonna get that nice cone right there where you hooked your petals together. Okay, and just repeat that on every single petal. The more you angle or pull this in, the more of a pop you're gonna get. If you want it to lay a little flatter, go a little bit. If you really want it to pop up, really kind of exaggerate that. If you just want a little bit, just do that. You can kind of see the difference just there as I do it. That's a little bit, that's a lot. So depending how much you want your flowers to stand up, pull it way in. If you want them to kind of lay a little bit more out, like this one I didn't pull it very tight. I let it kind of lay out. So you can get a variety if you want to, because no two flowers are the same. right. Should make a little more. Whoop. So I just got hot glue on both sides of the petal. That is okay. It's probably gonna get covered up by the center, but I can also just wipe it down with my hand. I just hot glued myself to it. There we go. All right. All right. So I think today, actually, I'm just going to show you this flower so that we can get to the picture hanging part. So I have plenty of flowers made ahead of time. So you should have, again, your 4 small petals, your 5 large petals, and we're going to attach them to our base now. This is going to be entirely hidden, so it doesn't really matter if you've got your pencil side showing or not, but I still like to be that person that has my pencil side down. So you're going to take this cone part of your flower. I just give it a nice bead of hot glue like that. And we're going to go just like that and get our base on there. And we're going to repeat that for each of these large ones, the large petals. You can kind of twist it around as you put it down to get the placement. As you can see so far, there's 3 of them placed down. I'm going to kind of squeeze 2 in there, but I really liked the look of 5 petals. I always like doing things in kind of odd numbers. So making 9 petals for the flower worked for me. Because it kind of, if I do even numbers for everything, I start worrying about everything getting too symmetrical. Okay, so we have got our 5 big petals down. Now we're going to put our middle petals in. And this is a little bit easier to place because you can do it like I've got my 1 petal down. I'm going to go directly opposite that, which has then created space here and space here. There we go. And my last step to get this flower made is to put my center in. It would be really fun if you had it, if you wanted to do some kind of sparkle in the center, whether you have some kind of cool crystal or glitter paper, or you want to go in there and glitter itself. I totally recommend that. So this is literally the process you're going to repeat for every size flower. In the interest of time today, I'm only going to show you the 1, but literally for your medium and small, oh, a button would be an adorable idea too. I love that. I didn't even think of that. But repeat this for every flower to get the sizes that you need. We're going to do 6 flowers. So, and they can be any colors that you want. I'm just going to lay the ones I've pre-made out so you can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and use my patterned flowers today since I want to save time. It'll look kind of cute working in there because they're blue too. So you need 6 flowers in the end, and they're all just slightly different sizes. As you can see, some of mine are standing up more than others. Some of mine are laying a little bit more flat. When you look at them, that's totally cool. Make the flowers however you want. Okay, I'm gonna set these aside for the moment because the next part I'm gonna do is our hanging stick here. Okay. You can get a nice dowel rod at Michael's. You could even, this one's, you know, a nice round dowel rod. You could also just use a flat piece of wood if you have someone that does woodworking at the house and you just got a nice flat scrap, you can do that as well. But the dowel rods work really nicely. This step I'm about to show you is totally optional. If you like the look of the natural wood, keep it. I used this cool kind of sheer apricot ribbon, peachy, it's like a peachy pink, to wrap my dowel rod because it kind of gave it a nice shimmer. And I really like that. And it enhances, you can see it just enhances the wood a little bit. And it's super easy to do. I did not measure this out because I'm literally just gonna wrap it from here and cut it off. So just kind of pull a bunch off. I couldn't get my sticker off, so for today I'm gonna leave it. If you are able to get that off, please do. It just seems like it was super glued on there. All right, to start this, just put a nice little pad of hot glue on your stick. Be careful if you are sensitive to heat, just because this ribbon is gonna, you know, have that come through a little bit. And I still have a little bit of a tail, so I'm gonna tag that down too. All right, and then literally, I'm not gonna use hot glue again until we get to the end. I'm just gonna twist it like this. And it does take a little practice, so whoop, if you have to kind of unroll and re-roll a few times, that is okay. But I'm kind of pulling this at an angle a little bit and just twisting so that we can get this wrap on here. If you wanted to use a solid ribbon, you could. I just think it gives it this really cool natural looking shimmer to do this sheer without the mess of having to like spray or glue glitter on here, because that would end up all over your living room. Unless you can find some cool like glitter paint. That might stay pretty well, or like a metallic paint. That would be cool too. But I guess I'm kind of doing this instead of staining the wood, because I'm just changing it just slightly. If you have a helper, like if two of you are working on this together, this is definitely a step where that wouldn't be helpful. Just because you could have someone kind of helping you hold the stick while you wrap this. All right, we're getting towards the end. So I am gonna keep my finger on the ribbon so I don't undo all my hard work.
Megan, do you know what size the dowel is?
I'm sorry, I forgot you were there. I think this is about a 1/2 inch.
1/2 inch, okay, thank you.
But I think it's a 1/2 inch. You can use thinner. I just, because there is a lot of weight that's gonna go on this with 6 flowers, I'm just kind of wrap this around and glue, and then we're gonna cut. You want one that's slightly thicker. If you used one of the like thinner dowels, Emily actually bought this dowel for me, and I told her to pick up the dowel and make sure it didn't like kind of bend and warp as she picked it up. So kind of test it that way. If you pick it up and it seems flimsy, it's great for other craft projects, but it's not going to hold much weight. This doesn't move. Like even when I'm moving it like this, it's not bending and waving. It's a nice sturdy piece of wood. All right, so I have our nice wrapped stick. You can see there's kind of a cool texture to it. It's got a shimmer. If you wanted to add like cool little tails at the end, you could. That's a little too frilly for me, so I'm not going to do that. But you can. You are also now going to need twine. This is how we're going to make our picture hanging strands, and it's how we're going to make what's actually going to hang this. So our picture hanging strands, we need 4 36-inch strands for those. So I'm gonna measure that out. And the fun part is you always can measure the first one. Again, this is 36 inches and we need 4 of them. So I've got my nice strand to do the rest. It's like a yarn ball, it wants to roll away. I'm just gonna measure them to each other. Okay, if you're a little off, that's fine. You know, they're not quite all perfectly the same length. You can adjust that later. That is the wonder of scissors. Just make sure they're not like, you know, 10 inches off. But my ends are a little bit off. That's okay. So I've got 4 of these. Those are gonna be my picture hanging strands. And this is just a standard twine. You could use baker's twine or ribbon if you want to. For my circles, if you want to, you can use one long strand and do the hanger where you tie one here and tie one here. I had issues with that. The weight of my flowers kept making it fall forward. So I ended up doing a different style of hanger. But if you want to do, you know, the one long strand, trying to do an illustration where I would like tie here and then hang in the middle, you can try it. It might work for you. I just had issues doing it. Like I said, I hung it and it kept rolling forward, which is not what you want. All right, so my hanging, for the actual hanging on the wall, I'm gonna cut 2 18-inch strands. So that's 12, 18. Pretty much whatever method you can use to get this to be supported on a wall, go with that. Okay. So, like I said, these are for hanging to our wall. So I'm gonna make sure my sticker's in the back because, like I said, I couldn't get it off. You can probably get yours off. I cut my nails last night. That makes everything harder. All right, I'm gonna just add a little bit of hot glue on the end. Put my end right there. And I'm gonna wrap it around. Add another little bead of hot glue and stick it in there. You may have to hold it just a second to get it to really stay. You can wrap it again just to make sure it's gonna stay. If you are really good at knots, you can do a knot too. I am not great at knots. Okay. This with the twine is gonna look a little bit messy, but our flowers are gonna cover the ends of our twine, so we're never gonna know. Okay. Repeating the same step on the opposite side. So a little bead of hot glue. Put the end of my strand in it. Careful of your fingers. You are going to get hot glue coated fingers a little bit, but that's pretty much like any crafting project, at least for me. Another bead of hot glue to get our end in there, and then wrap it one more time. And I'm just doing this towards the end, about an inch, half inch away from the end. Whatever works for you for stability, please do that. But there's no real trick to where I'm putting these. The 4 picture hanging strands, I did 36 inches each. All right, so now obviously we need to do something so this hangs. So I'm just gonna tie a little loop in it. So take about 3 fingers, you know, loop it around your 3 fingers. It's a very simple loop I'm gonna do. and kind of do like the bunny ear trick. There we go, we've got one loop at the end. Okay, so I've got 3 fingers. Sorry, the stick is a little long, so it's hard to get it all on camera at the same time. 3 fingers. Loop it around. And we've got our loop on the end, and that's how we're gonna hang it, is just, you know, little thumbtacks through these nice little loops. All right. Now we've got our 4 strands. If you want to carefully measure these out, you totally can. I think this is a 36-inch pole, so you can totally divide that by 4, figure out where these should go. I'm gonna eyeball it because I'm comfortable doing that. If you are not, please take all the measurements you want and get this nice and evenly spaced out. I'm gonna start with, this is my guide, and just put it right next to it. So a little bit of hot glue. Twist it around. Same thing, just a little bit more hot glue. Beat it down. And again, if this feels messy to you, it's okay. We're making flowers that are gonna cover this. So you're not gonna see the ends of our sticks. Okay. And because I'm eyeballing it, I'm gonna work side to side. So I just did the one here. Now I'm gonna move to this side. And if you make a mistake, these strands should peel up pretty easy. Or again, because they're gonna be covered, just cut them off and try it again. Okay. A little bit more hot glue. I almost put the hot glue gun down on my mouse pad. Would not have been the best choice. All right, so I have 2 of my 4 strands down. I can't quite get that fully on camera for you, but I've got 2 more. So I think if I put one about here, and then one about here, that is fairly even. I wish I could tell you, well, I guess that is actually about the size of my forearm apart. So I could measure it that way. And I think that's what we're gonna do. So I tend to be very hands-on how I measure things. All right, so my wrist is right there. And the same way, just put a little bit of hot glue down, press it in, wrap this around. And if that is still wet, it is, I can just keep that nice and stuck in there. I made a big enough bead. All right, another piece of twine. This is our last hanger, which we're gonna do about here. Okay, stick that down. That tried to get away from me, so we're gonna add a little more hot glue. Okay. And this one was a little messy. But like I said, that's okay. Ooh, and a little hot. Sorry, I gotta get the hot glue off my fingers before we go on to the next part. All right. So this is our fun part. Or well, I hope it's all been fun. I'm gonna figure out which order to lay these down in. I like to put my biggest ones on the ends. And then I think we might do that. I actually really like the patterned flowers in here. This was cute. Okay. And I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the twine. I'm gonna work out to in. That way I can kind of space things out very nicely. So eyeball a straight line, or as straight as you can, on the back of your flower. Really get that glue on there. Make sure you've got the whatever's gonna be the front of your pole here, and get your hot glue bead right on that pole. You might have to hold it for a second so it doesn't, your flower doesn't fall off before the hot glue has set. But you see, like, we're not even, there's my hanger. We don't have to worry at all about how messy our little twine is here. All right, so I want my other big flower on this end. Okay, so a straight bead of hot glue. Get it on the pole. Make sure to really press it down, just because sometimes your flower is going to try to bend up on one side, and you want to make sure to get that whole back on the flower. All right, so this is adding weight now, so you can see it's trying to flop. So just, you know, pay attention. All right, so I've got 2 flowers on. We're going to go in next. Trying to see how far I need to space these apart. Something like that will look good. Depending how flat or popped up you made your flowers, you'll have to adjust things. All right. So I think what I have now is good. It is harder to take the flowers off if you make a mistake, but not impossible. If the glue sets, you might just need a little blade to go in there to help pop it up. But with enough willpower, you can make them repositionable. We are 4 flowers down. Whoop. Yes. No, it doesn't look, that one's wobbly on me, and I don't know why. There we go, a little more hot glue. It's not wobbly anymore. All right, and so I'm gonna pop these in here. My last 2 flowers. And my last flower. Our last steps are super easy. We're almost done with today's class. All right, so you can see, and I'll hold it up at the end of class, we've got our flowers on there. We've got all 6. If you want to use your strands, obviously, for hanging, you can get these cool mini clothespins in a variety of colors at Michael's. They're awesome. You're literally just gonna, I'm stealing one. You're literally just gonna take your photo or your saying, decide where you want it on the string, and pop it right on there. So these are obviously non-permanent. You can swap things out through time, however you want to do it. If you like these little phrases and things, they came from our Southern Blues paper pad. So we have this lovely sheet in here with phrases. And I believe I used a lot of, sorry, this sheet right here, because I really loved these 2 phrases, and they've got the really cool gold accents. So if we can go ahead and switch to the front camera. I'm gonna hold this up and show you. So this is what the whole whole looks like all put together. So you can also see that one behind me. If you notice this one, my flowers were a little bit more popped up. I relaxed them a little bit more on this one. So it's just the difference between the two looks. You should have your strings hanging nicely. Like I said, choose some cool family photos. If you don't have anything printed yet, use the phrases that are in our paper pads. They're really adorable. They look good hanging. Does anyone have any questions about anything I've done? This will be available on Michael's YouTube, so you can watch this later if you need to watch it back to remember some steps. And please, please, as always, if you're going to make this, I highly encourage you to tag us. Michael's uses the hashtag Make It With Michael's, and I believe Michael's Classes. And please tag us. We are at Craftsmith Co. On Instagram. We love to see what you make. We repost projects that people make with our products. If you have any questions about things we use during class that you think of later, I'm sure Emily can answer that on our Instagram as well. So feel free to comment. Any more questions, anyone? All right, it sounds like pretty much everyone knows what they're doing and can watch later to craft along. So thank you guys. Happy Friday. Enjoy crafting. And thank you and goodbye.